Alrighty guys, so I said I'd do a quick little video on what's going on with the K11 Micra. I know this is not much interest to most people. It's a 1 litre automatic, so it's even less interest. It's more and more kind of limited audience for that kind of stuff. It is a 3-door, which I was kind of adamant I had to have. If I was doing this, I was going to get a 3-door. This is for the wife, and I'm not really, as I say, I'm not into the 5 doors. Just a 3-door Micra sort of appealed to me for some reason. I don't know. Maybe it's I kind of always compare it to like it's the Mini, the original Mini of our kind of generation, you know. The new Mini is not anything like it. This is it, you know. This is a small, cheap motor to run. I bought this for I think about €300 by the time I went in the Jeep and I put it onto the trailer and drove it back. I think I was about €300 into it. I'll probably end up being another €300 into all the parts I'm putting into it. The one thing about these is they rust, and they rust literally everywhere. So let me see if I can. What I've done so far is I've stripped off the exhaust, believe it or not, even though it looks minging, is actually okay. I do have a box of parts that I bought for the car. The alloys are horrible and the tires need changing, so I might sell the alloys. Somebody might buy them, and then I might buy a set of, I would actually just prefer, you know, a set of silver steel wheels with that Nissan center cap on it. Alternatively, I might look to get a set of 14 or 15 inch Micra from the wheels from the same generation. It's quite a nice set. They're kind of retro, or not retro, but they're very much 90s. This is just 2000. Now I do have a box, yes, a box of parts. So, like all things, when you start digging into these cars, you find out there's more wrong than you think. So, rear shocks, a set of rear shocks. I've got all the filters for servicing it, and CV boots. So I have new CV boot kit for it. What is that? That is air filter, oil filter, spark plugs, and then back down here I have a new petrol filler neck that had to be got as well. That's those. Then I've basically, since then I've been getting into welding on it. It needs an awful lot of welding. If I'd known it needed so much welding, I wouldn't have bought it. Strangely, it needed welding here. It needs work here. But the main work is underneath. So I've kind of stripped down as much as possible. I've stripped down the underside of the car. Not as much as possible, but as much as I want to go with a car that should be ready to go fairly soon. I don't want to go too mad on it. Let me just get it up here. So just to give you an idea of where these actually rust, we will now. Okay, so obvious places. It rusts here behind the sills. The sills themselves seem to rust quite easily. These areas here had an awful lot of pitting and stuff, but they're actually okay. Same with up here. I got off lightly there. There was a patch. There's a patch needed for here. There's a patch needed for here that goes the whole way around to the side. So basically, that whole pocket, and that's a vent that's there normally. And then up here, you know. So that nearly that entire pocket and the inside arch. Somebody has done a terrible patch just here. Where else have I found rust? Obviously, as I said, up here there was a rust issue. This whole area has been patched at some stage as well. You know, you can see that there. Again, so that whole pocket basically. So the pockets on the back seem to be just, you know, nightmare. They seem to rust out. Again, on this side we have that pocket there. Up here, sorry the light is catching you there, but there was a hole going straight through here. That's a magnet there just to hold my template in. And then actually the top of this strut is an awkward shape. I don't know what I'm going to do about that. I think I might just weld this flat, and then I might just make a conical shape up here that's not as big and not a match, but it'll be structurally strong. You can see light coming through here. That entire piece needs refabricating there, basically. The sill, again, somebody has already done a bodge job to it here, and the same on the other side. Somebody has done a pretty poor repair there. And then going forward, we have a hole in the sill just here. That's coming up to the front mounting point. I think the sill is going to be the same out here. That sill I think might be okay, which is typical for right-hand drive cars, because that's the side that's in the middle of the road and getting the least amount of water. This side is driving in muddy ditches and stuff like that. Side of the road again. We have another patch of rust just there. And then obviously we have our CV boots. There's a little bit of a pipe needed for the power steering. And I think we might get away lightly with all of that. I say lightly, that's still an awful lot of work. So my intention here is to, I'm going to, now I've basically gotten the parts cut out, and you've cut out obviously those few patches you've seen that are bad. Some of them aren't bad, some of them are. So the two on the back sill here, and then the one just here needs to be cut out and replaced. And then I'm going to treat it with FE123, which is the rust buster rust treatment. So I'm just actually going to, believe it or not, I'm going to load that into a spray gun and just coat everywhere that is here, because none of the steel that is exposed is good, you know. So I'm going to just coat that. Then I'm going to put my welds in, my welded patches in and stuff like that, and then I'm just going to go over with Gravitex. I'm hoping that this will take, it won't take too long. It's already taken far too long, and I kind of want to get out of it now at this stage, and then get it out to back on the road for my wife to pot around the local town in, because it's only going, this car will probably only go 20 mile a week, you know, if even. She has the Pajero there for long trips. It's just for the short stuff or the small trips. A couple of little dents, kind of minor enough stuff. Apart from that, it's clean enough, you know. It has little scratches and dents here and there. You know, it's not something I'm going to end up painting or anything like that. But maybe if in years to come it has charmed us, we might get into that then. Anyway guys, just a quick video on that. I won't bore you with loads of information going forward. You might just see that this is finished, depending on if people are interested or not, I don't know. So after coating it all with FE123, you can see it's reacting already with the metal work and stuff. Hopefully this is a good idea product wise. You know, anybody who's been looking at my videos before, I use Bardol, what's it called? Rust converter, ox something converter, anyway. And that was what I used on the Merc. And I sort of regret using that on the Merc. I just don't think it's necessarily as good. I've used it an awful lot, but then recently I did a bit of work on the Pajero, and I had to just, a quick little thing where I scrubbed it down, coated that little patch I could see coming up, and then put some zinc primer or zinc paint over it. 182, I think it's what it's called. Anyway, I did that, and a few weeks later I could see, or a few months later, maybe a month later or something, I could see the paint flaking off and the rust and stuff back as quick. So hopefully that's not indicative of all the Bardol stuff. But either way, I have decided to use the FE123 on this. It's about €50 for a litre. I used about a litre for this job. And as you can see there's an awful lot of wastage in that. If you wanted to, you could probably do this job 3 times over with a paintbrush. I just sprayed it on because I don't have the time to be painting. I'm lazy, you know. And then basically there's a few areas, and I see another area there that I'm just going to go over with the paintbrush, just with what I have left. Anyway, that's it to that point. I will get cutting, welding and all the usual. Alright, thanks for watching.